All right, so we've got a pretty big stack of articles here, all about the U.S. housing market, and yeah, looks like we've got a bit of a puzzle to solve today.
Yeah.
Sales are slow,
Hmm.
interest rates are, I mean, they're really high, and it seems like everyone's kind of just holding their breath,
Yeah.
waiting to see what happens. So what is really going on here?
Well, it's a really interesting situation for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, this article, What's Happening in the Housing Market, it kind of lays it all out there.
right.
But we're going to kind of go a little deeper,
Yeah,
beyond just the headlines and really untack, all the reasons why things are the way they are right now.
exactly. Because I think, just hearing that interest rates are up, it doesn't really paint the whole picture, right? It doesn't
Right.
tell you how it's actually going to affect your plans. Whether you're hoping to buy your first place or you're thinking about selling, or even if you're just staying put for the time being.
Yeah, it's like trying to navigate, I don't know, by the stars or something without a compass.
Right.
You can see something's up there,
Yeah,
but you don't know which way to go.
right.
So I think let's maybe start with the interest rate roller coaster because that's kind of like the big engine driving everything else we're seeing right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember when getting a 3% mortgage rate was like,
Yeah.
winning the lottery.
Yeah.
And now this article's throwing out numbers like 7%, which is, I don't know, a little scary.
Yeah, it's a big difference. I
Right.
mean, for someone, let's say looking at a $400,000 loan, that's a difference of hundreds of dollars every month
Hundreds, see.
in your payments.
Yeah. That's a huge financial difference. And it's really kind of reshaping everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, imagine someone who could, comfortably afford that $400,000 house at 3%.
Right.
Now they're either totally priced out or they have to downsize, look at something much smaller, something that's, more affordable.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so that makes sense why, some buyers are kind of putting on the brakes.
Right.
But then this article also talks about how there's this huge shortage of homes for sale,
Mm-hmm.
which, I mean, that seems kind of counterintuitive, right?
Right.
When you've got these crazy high rates and fewer buyers out there.
Yeah, well, see, that's where it gets kind of interesting
Uh.
because all those people, the folks who snagged those awesome 3% mortgages a while back,
Right.
they're not really in a hurry to sell
Okay.
and trade up to,
To 7%.
7% loan.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty happy where they are.
They're sitting pretty. Yeah.
Who can blame them?
It's like they've got this golden ticket
Yeah.
and they're not letting go.
Yeah.
But I mean, that really creates a log jam in the entire market.
Yeah.
Because if there are fewer homes for sale, that just means there's more competition for the few that are out there.
Exactly. And then, you add on top of that
Yeah.
the fact that new construction is really struggling to keep pace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this article here talks about, costs for materials are way up.
Right.
They've got labor shortages
Mm-hmm.
and even, zoning regulations in a lot of places
Yeah.
are making it just really tough to build new homes fast enough.
So it's not just that people aren't selling,
Right.
but we're also not building enough new homes to kind of fill that gap.
Exactly.
And all of that leads to, well, I mean, this is kind of a scary thought.
Yeah.
This article says sales numbers are the lowest they've been since the 2008 financial crisis.
It's true.
Wow. So, I mean, okay, let's recap.
Okay.
We've got these sky-high interest rates,
Mm-hmm.
scaring away buyers,
Nice.
not enough homes for sale,
Yep.
and then new construction is hitting all these roadblocks.
Mm.
It's like a perfect storm of factors that are just creating this really uncertain market.
Yeah, it really is. And then just when you think you've got it all figured out right,
Right.
there's this other big factor that comes into play,
And that is?
the upcoming election.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Always got to think about the elections.
Elections always seem to add a little bit of what if
Right.
to any any big financial decision.
Right.
But this article, it really digs into how
Yeah.
potential policy changes around housing could really,
Really shake things up.
really shake things up.
Yeah, because we're not just talking about broad economic policies here.
Yeah.
It's like this article really gets into the nitty-gritty,
Yeah.
like potential changes to things like mortgage interest deductions,
Mm-hmm.
capital gains taxes,
Yep.
even first-time home buyer programs.
It's all on the table.
I mean, so depending on, who wins.
Right. And what they want to do, we could see some pretty big changes to, the whole the rules of the game.
Absolutely.
I mean, for example, right? Like if they change the rules on how mortgage interest is deducted, that could affect a lot of homeowners.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like a lot.
Big time.
And then there's, the whole debate about capital gains taxes.
Right.
If those go up,
Yeah.
it could make owning, like investment properties a lot less appealing.
For sure.
Which then could, further impact how many rental units are available.
Exactly.
I mean, it seems like buyers and sellers are in this really tough spot. Like,
Yeah.
do you make a move now? Or do you wait and see what happens after the election?
I know it's
It's kind of a gamble.
it's a tough one.
Either way.
Yeah, it's all about weighing the risks
Yeah.
against the potential reward.
Yeah.
But you know what? While we're all focused on these big picture uncertainties, there's this whole other dynamic at play: the shifting landscape between buyers and renters.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because when buying a home feels like such a risky and expensive thing to do, renting suddenly starts to look
Pretty good.
pretty attractive.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you rather have predictable monthly payments right now
For sure.
rather than dealing with all this craziness?
Yeah, it's a pretty logical response to the current market,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Conditions. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're seeing. I mean, this article talks about how, more and more people are choosing to rent.
Right.
Because of all these,
The high costs and the
high costs, the uncertainty. It just makes sense,
Yeah, why jump into this huge financial commitment
Right.
when, everything could change in a few months?
Yeah, you're kind of better off just waiting,
Yeah.
seeing what happens.
It's like a classic wait and see
Exactly.
approach.
But here's the thing. All that demand
Yeah.
from all those buyers who are sitting
Right.
on the sidelines,
Yeah.
it's putting a lot of upward pressure on rental prices.
Oh, so it's like,
Classic supply and demand.
Right.
More renters.
yeah.
Fewer units available.
So now you've got people who, I mean, maybe a few years ago they could have bought a place,
Right, exactly.
but now they're stuck in
Yeah.
this super competitive rental market
Yep.
where prices are just going up and up.
And up and up.
That's not a great situation either.
No, it's a tough spot.
Yeah, it's like this ripple effect.
It is.
The craziness in the buying market is kind of spilling over
Yeah.
into the rental market, creating this whole other set of problems.
And to make things even more complicated.
Oh, there's more.
Remember a couple years ago when everybody thought
Oh, yeah.
we were all going to be working from our
Mountain cabins forever.
mountain cabins forever?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zoom counts.
Yeah.
That was a thing.
I mean, it definitely reshaped
It did.
housing preferences.
Absolutely.
This article mentions how, smaller cities
Right.
and the suburbs started looking a lot more appealing
Oh, yeah.
when you didn't have to commute to an office every day.
I mean, who wants to sit in traffic
Right.
when you can?
When you can work from your
Work from home.
work from home.
Yeah, it's a great example of how, lifestyle preferences can really impact
Totally.
the housing market.
Like people started prioritizing different things, like affordability and
Outdoor space.
outdoor space. Yeah.
A sense of community.
Yeah.
Over being, close to the downtown office.
But here's the thing.
What's that?
This article also mentions that some companies are starting to
Oh, no.
call their workers back to the office. At least part-time.
Interesting.
So that whole work from anywhere trend.
Might be losing some steam.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good reminder that,
Mm-hmm.
the market's always adapting.
Constantly changing.
Yeah, to shifts in the economy,
Mm-hmm.
technology, social trends.
Yeah.
I mean, what seems like a sure bet today
Right.
might not be
Yeah.
such a sure bet in a year or two.
So all those people who bought homes in,
Right.
kind of more remote areas thinking they were never going to have to go back to the office,
Yeah.
they might be having some second thoughts right now.
Might be. Might be.
And speaking of things that can really shake up the housing market,
Yeah.
let's talk about the economy.
Oh, yeah, the big E.
I mean, inflation is still a big problem,
Mm-hmm.
and that's got to be impacting people's ability to afford a home.
Absolutely.
I mean, even if they could get a good interest rate.
Yeah, when everything costs more,
Right.
your groceries, your gas, your utilities,
Uh-huh.
there's less money left over.
Yeah, for your housing.
For your housing costs. Exactly. And then there's the whole question of job security.
Right.
This article mentions that, some industries are already seeing layoffs.
Yeah.
So if people are worried about losing their jobs, they're probably not going to be running out to buy a house.
Probably not, no.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a natural reaction.
Right.
When things feel uncertain.
Yeah.
You kind of put the big decisions on hold.
But then again, there's this other argument that that real estate can be a safe haven.
That's right.
During,
safe as houses, right?
Yeah, like economic turmoil.
Exactly. They're not making any more land.
Right.
That's a good point.
Real estate tends to hold its value.
It does.
Better than, stocks or other investments.
Especially over the long term.
Especially over the long term.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that doesn't mean it's, like, totally immune to market forces.
No, it's not a magic bullet.
So even if you believe in,
right,
the long-term stability of real estate.
Yeah.
And, those high costs,
yeah,
those rising interest rates, all this economic uncertainty.
It's enough to make even a savvy investor think twice before jumping in.
So it seems like there's all this, conflicting information out there.
There is a lot to digest.
Like, on the one hand, you've got experts predicting a slowdown.
Right.
Maybe even like a dip in prices.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got other folks saying real estate's always a good investment no matter what.
It's tough to know.
It really is. It's enough to make your head swim.
It is, but that's why it's so important to, to really dig in.
Go beyond the headlines.
Go beyond the headlines, exactly. Try to understand all the different factors at play.
Yeah. So how do we make sense of all this?
Well, that's where these articles, I think, offer some really good insight.
Okay.
They give us a good framework for understanding the market, and then they also provide some expert predictions.
Okay, let's hear it.
And advice for navigating this whole crazy landscape.
What are the experts saying about the future of the housing market?
Well, there is some good news.
I mean,
some experts are saying that the Fed might ease up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
On those, those really aggressive interest rate hikes.
Yeah.
If inflation starts to cool down.
So there's a chance things could get.
Yeah, but even the experts are they're hesitant to make any promises.
Right.
It's
not like a guarantee or anything.
Yeah, it's all kind of a wait and see approach.
So we're not talking about like a sudden drop in mortgage rates back to like,
No, going back to those
the 3% days.
The good old days, yeah. Not likely.
Okay. So it's more like
a gradual kind of easing.
Okay.
Assuming that inflation cooperates.
Right.
And even then, it'll take some time for the market to kind of adjust.
Okay, so no quick fixes on the horizon.
Not really, no.
What about home prices?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are we headed for a crash?
Most experts seem to think that a nationwide plunge in prices is it's pretty unlikely.
Okay.
Some areas might see, like a little dip or maybe a period where things kind of flatten out.
Yeah.
But a full-blown crash.
Right.
Like like what we saw back in 2008.
2008, yeah.
That's not really on the radar.
So there's no fire sale.
No fire sale.
The house is coming anytime soon.
Not according to the experts.
Right.
And then there's the whole long-term challenge of the housing shortage.
Right.
I mean, this article really emphasizes that it's going to take more than just lower interest rates to really solve that problem.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how new construction is it's really struggling to keep up with demand.
Right.
This article mentions things like zoning regulations, building codes, even a shortage of skilled labor.
Yeah, it's hard to find qualified people
to actually build the houses.
To do the work, yeah.
And, I mean, those are all factors that are really slowing things down.
Absolutely.
So it's a complex issue.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
With no easy solutions.
And the long-term solutions, like streamlining those building regulations or incentivizing developers to build more affordable housing or investing in, workforce development programs.
Yeah.
Those are all good ideas.
Right.
But they're going to take time to have an impact.
Okay. So, I mean, we've got all these economic factors. We've got political uncertainties.
That's a lot.
Long-term challenges.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
I mean, it can feel pretty overwhelming.
It can.
Even with all this information,
Absolutely. But
so what practical advice?
Yeah, that's the key question.
Yeah, what do these articles actually offer to people who are actually trying to navigate this market?
Well, for buyers, I think the main message is be prepared.
Be prepared. Okay.
That means get your finances in order.
Yeah.
Really understand
your budget.
Your budget, yeah, your limitations.
So no more impulse purchases?
Probably not a good idea.
Based on those HGTV shows.
Yeah, probably best to stick to the plan.
To a solid plan.
In this market.
The articles also suggest that, buyers might need to be a little more flexible.
Be open to
different things.
Different neighborhoods, maybe even
different cities.
Different cities, yeah.
Okay.
To find the right
combination.
The right combination of affordability and lifestyle.
So flexibility is key.
Flexibility is key for buyers.
Okay, what about sellers?
Sellers.
Yeah, what's their game plan?
I think for sellers, the key is to be realistic.
Realistic.
About pricing.
Okay.
If you overprice your home,
yeah,
in a buyer's market,
which this is,
yeah, you're going to be sitting on the market for a long time.
Right. So no more
no more
testing the waters.
Testing the waters.
Yeah, the really high asking price.
Nope.
Okay.
It's not going to work.
Do your research. Look at comparable properties.
Exactly.
Be willing to,
to adjust your
expectations
based on,
the current market,
the current situation.
What about for people who are looking at real estate as an investment?
For investors, I think the main takeaway is do your homework.
Okay.
Research those regional trends. Analyze that rental demand.
Right.
Understand all the local regulations. Mm-hmm. This isn't the time for speculation.
Or making
or emotional decisions.
Emotional decisions, right?
No. Got to be smart about it.
It sounds like the days of flipping houses.
Oh, yeah.
For a quick profit might be over.
Yeah, that ship has probably sailed. The focus now is on those long-term strategies.
Right. Finding those properties. With good rental potential. Building a diversified portfolio that can weather all the
ups and downs.
The
fluctuations, yeah.
So, wow, we covered a lot of ground here today.
We did.
I mean, interest rates, inventory, elections.
It's a lot.
Economic uncertainty, the whole...
Yeah, it's a lot to digest.
Buyer-renter dynamic.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a lot to process.
But I think the biggest takeaway is that even though the housing market is super complicated and it's always changing,
right?
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Understanding what's going on.
Right.
Being aware of the risks, the opportunities, and just making informed decisions based on your own personal situation.
Your own circumstances.
That's really the best way to navigate all of this.
We've only scratched the surface today. Yeah, just a little taste.
But hopefully this deep dive has given you some good insights.
The food for thought.
Yeah.
And hopefully you have a little better understanding of what's going on.
What's really driving the market.
In the housing market today.
And remember, there are tons of resources out there.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to keep learning.
Real estate websites, blogs.
Podcasts
like ours.
Exactly.
So keep digging. Keep asking those questions.
Keep learning, yeah.
Keep learning because whether you're buying or selling or renting.
Or just trying to figure out what to do.
Or just trying to figure out your next move.
Yeah.
Staying informed is it's the best way to navigate this whole crazy world.
The ever-changing world of real estate.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's a question for you to ponder.
Okay, I like it.
Given everything we've talked about, what steps are you going to take to achieve your own
good question
goals?
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Are you going to wait for the market to shift?
Maybe explore some new options.
Or are you going to double down on your current strategy?
Whatever you decide.
Yeah.
We wish you the best of luck.
Absolutely.
On your housing journey.
And who knows, maybe by the time we revisit this topic,
yeah,
things will have calmed down a little bit.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.